You ever wake up, step outside with your coffee, and realize you're not just living on a farm, you're starring in a low-budget sitcom written by people who have never set foot in the dirt? Because that's how my Thursday started. Picture this. The sun's barely up. I'm standing in dew-soaked boots, and a Cessna is circling over my alfalfa like a lost seagull at a ballpark. Then out of nowhere, it lines up to land on a blinding white stripe that's magically appeared across my pasture overnight. The wheels hit dirt bounce once, and the poor pilot slams the throttle aborts because what does he see? Not a runway, but my entire herd of cattle and a lopsided sign that reads, Runway 1836, Synergy HOA Air Park, barely hanging on in the morning wind. I just stared kind of dumbfounded and thought, here we go, let the circus begin. By 8 in the morning, my usually quiet fence line is a carnival. Orange-vested neighbors waving ping-pong paddles, Bluetooth speaker blasting Danger Zone like we're Top Gun, and right in the middle of it all is Helena Pritchard, clipboard in hand, face lit up with the kind of joy you only see at timeshares and tax audits. She's shouting, "Welcome to our community airstrip," like this has always been a thing. Meanwhile, I'm reaching for my phone and dialing a number I don't exactly hand out at neighborhood barbecues. I had a feeling my neighbors were about to learn more about the world than they'd bargained for. Now, before you think I'm just some grumpy farmer, let me set the record straight. My name's Gavin Pike. I've got 100 acres, a barn full of vintage tractors, a border collie who thinks he's sheriff, and zero patience for HOA shenanigans. My farm backs up against Fox Hollow Acres, which, if you haven't guessed, is one of those neighborhoods where they water the bylaws more than the flower beds. Hedges cut so sharp you'd swear the landscaper used a laser. The queen bee Helena herself, a woman who treats property lines like vague suggestions and hurls acronyms the way other people throw horseshoes. Per HCC and RS Section 8, subsection B, she loves those words, says them, with the confidence of someone who's never actually read the whole document. I keep to myself. Raise feed corn, alfalfa spend Sundays elbow deep in a John Deere engine just for the peace of it. What I do for a living. Never told them. This is a farm, not LinkedIn. Why should I? But see, privacy isn't something Helena respects. Her campaign against my non-compliance started small. First, she complains, "Your barn roof is reflecting sunlight into our cul-de-sac yoga session like that's a felony." Then she files a petition to beautify the boundary, which between you, me, and the fence post was code for annexing my tree line for their precious community garden. One evening, she shows up at my door, binder in hand, gold-embossed letters screaming Community Enhancement Initiative, flanked by 2 board members who just nod at everything like dashboard bobbleheads. "Mr. Pike," she says with that voice people use when they're about to sell you a pyramid scheme, "we've determined your eastern tree line would better serve as a meditation grove with Japanese maples and a koi pond." My dog Rex let out a low growl behind my legs. I told her real polite that I'd rather keep my trees. That went over like a lead balloon. She didn't like that. So next thing you know, she files a noise complaint about my rooster who's been crowing at 5:05 sharp since before her HOA even existed. She petitions the county about my unsightly grain silo, calls it an industrial eyesore, says it ruins her sunset view. She even hired a drone to document my so-called agricultural blight, which was just my tractor parked in my own field. That's when I knew this was war by 1,000 paper cuts. But the real punchline. One morning, a glossy flyer shows up in every mailbox. Fox Hollow fly-ins support local agorism with our micro airfield coming soon. Clip art of biplanes, hot air balloons, the whole 9 yards. I laughed, thought it was another one of Helena's fever dreams. Until orange survey flags started popping up on my side of the fence like neon dandelions gone rogue. I left town for 3 days of conference. Came back to a nightmare. Somebody under cover of night had brought in light towers, earth movers, and graded a 1/500-foot stripe dead through my best hayfield. They staked runway lights, solar-powered garden pucks from Home Depot, painted numbers with driveway epoxy, and tied a windsock, actually an HOA tote bag, to a pool pole. Temporary demonstration, Helena called it. Said it was all cleared with the county and feds, flapping a suspiciously thin manila folder for effect. My cows just looked offended. Saturday rolls around and things hit peak absurdity. Helena's pilot friend blasts all over Facebook. Next door, you name it, that Fox Hollow's private airfield is open for touch-and-go practice. Drones buzzing overhead. Neighborhood kids wandering my tractor path, now the taxiway tiki torches acting as approach lights. And I swear, when a real Piper Cherokee lines up on final Helenas in my field with a bullhorn channeling her inner cruise director clear for landing runway 36. She's got the authority but none of the training. That's when I'd had enough. Walked out, set my coffee mug on the fence post, and said, real calm, hi. Gavin Pike. I direct the regional office for the FAA. You could have heard a pin drop. Helena blinked like she'd just tasted soap. Well, we already filed the necessary, she stammered. I asked partly for fun. You got your Part 157 notice owner consent, environmental impact statement. She stared at her yardstick like it might whisper the answers. Let me tell you, the next few hours were something else. Didn't call 911. I called the pros, the kind who eat airspace violations for breakfast. 2 white SUVs with government plates roll up, plus a zoning officer who looked giddy as a kid on Christmas. They measured everything. Took photos of the trench Helena's crew had cut right through my drainage swale, years of erosion control gone. The control tower bar stool duct taped to a ladder with binoculars up top. The inspector, a guy named Tom Rodriguez, real sharp, asked Helena for her airport identifier, environmental paperwork, landowner permission, all that. She hands him a trifold brochure she'd printed at the pharmacy, Comic Sans font, and a so-called memorandum of understanding signed by 3 HOA board members, and for some reason a labradoodle's paw print in purple ink. She holds it up like it's the Declaration of Independence. This is our certification, she says, dead serious. Tom flips through it, looks at me, and just sighs. Ma'am, this appears to be a dog's paw print. Helena nods. That's Mr. Snuggles, our mascot. He votes on landscaping. Tom's face said he'd seen a lot, but this was new. Then there's Patricia Chen, County Zoning. She's dealt with Helena for years, and you could tell she'd been waiting for this moment. She examined my deed, shook her head so hard her hat nearly fell off, and started writing citations like her pen was on fire. Unauthorized grading, no permits, flood zone violations, destruction of agricultural land. Helena tries to butt in, but we're improving the land value. Patricia doesn't even look up, just says, you're improving your criminal record. That's what. Long story short, the FAA marked the field, closed huge orange X's sprayed over Helena's runway. Pilot got told to land at a real airport 40 miles away. The FSDO wrote up the guy who'd done low passes that morning. The county cited the HOA for criminal trespass, unauthorized grading, and the environmental folks started stacking fines for mangling protected wetland that feeds into the watershed. You want justice. The best moment was Helena still fighting, trying to peel up the caution tape, and that windsock tote bag flies off, wraps around her head like a vengeful octopus. The inspector, cool as ice, affixed a big metal sign, unauthorized landing area, federal violation, do not use. The Bluetooth DJ, sensing the storm, switched to whale sounds and disappeared. By week's end, Fox Hollow's board held what they called an emergency air park debrief, which was really just a public shaming. Helena got booted as president, banned from any committee for 5 years, and forced by the county to pay for full remediation, regrading the swale, reseeding the hayfield, new fencing along the property line. The Aviation Improvement Fund, almost 20 grand of their own dues, ordered to be refunded with interest. The pilot lost his certificate for 60 days, had to take a remedial course on airspace regs, and Helena, oh, the judge really put a bow on it. 6 months probation, $15,000 in fines. restitution for my lost hay, and 200 hours of community service, painting giant X's on illegal runways all across the county. And the look on her face when the sentence was read. She turned every shade of red and purple you could imagine, matching the labradoodle's paw print on her so-called federal document. Now, I'm not saying justice is always this poetic, but every now and then the universe lines things up just right. So tell me, was I wrong for standing my ground, or does the line between community improvement and just plain neighborly nonsense need a little more paint? Drop your story, your take on justice, or any HOA horror stories you've survived. I'm all ears. And hey, hit subscribe if you want more tales of farm life, fence wars, and the never-ending saga of country living versus the folks who think they own the sky.